Welcome to Live Action Star Wars. I'm Ralph.
I'm James.
And today we are discussing Andor, Episode 5.
The Axe Forgets. Yeah, The Axe Forgets. It's a cool title, cool quote. But we are not doing it alone. As we have been talking about online, we have got a special guest with us this week. Joining us from Funhouse and Twitch. Funhouse.com. No, it's Funhouse is on Rooster Teeth and everywhere. And it's twitch.com or twitch.tv/Jacob Full. This is Jacob Fullerton, everybody.
Please don't break this stuff.
So now we know that when Star Wars Kid grew up, it became Jacob.
Hello, yes, all grown up. Howdy, fellas.
How's it going, Jacob?
Good. You yanked me out of bed to talk about Star Wars. I couldn't resist. I'm excited.
Well,
Clearly.
I think how this came about was a few months ago. Jacob and I were both in Austin, quite drunk at a party, and I just sort of started talking to you, and I was like, "Hey, I've got a Star Wars podcast. You like Star Wars? Do you want to come and talk about Star Wars with me?" And you were like, "Yeah, cool,
yeah,
absolutely.
let's do it."
And then I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna wait until we've got a show to talk about instead of just nonsense." And here we are.
Yeah, because that was in July, and then
beginning of.
Yeah, Andor started coming out. Then you messaged me. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember talking to James about doing the podcast."
Yeah.
I mean, how far in the drunk conversation did you take before you invited him on the podcast?
Oh, it was almost immediate.
Yeah,
it was pretty much, that's how I introduced it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the person who was plying me with drinks that night is also here in the chat, just saying hi. So there's Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
There you go. So it's Ed's fault? I don't know if fault's the right word.
Ed's a thorn in our side. He made us watch dance videos from Walt Disney World with like Darth Vader dancing with Slave Leia. Was Padme. Which one was it? Padme.
I think it was. I think it was
bad.
It wasn't great. So basically, in off seasons, Jacob, in case you're not aware, when there's not a show to talk about, we cover anything else live action. We go through the movies, we go through everything else, but then we'll do weird things like toy commercials or dance videos from Disney and things like that. So
wonderful.
It's a weird mix of things that we talk about on the show. But today we are here to talk about Andor. And yeah, as Ralph said, the episode was called The Axe Forgets.
The Axe Forgets.
Pretty cool.
Is that a line? Did I miss that line? It was.
Yeah, you missed the line. The full quote, I think, was the axe forgets, but the rock remembers, or the tree remembers.
The tree remembers.
The tree remembers.
Yeah,
what do you break through an axe?
Interesting title.
Yeah.
I'm still I watch these at 6 a.m. I wake up at 5:30, get ready. And I'm still sort of struggling with the accents when I wake up, like straight up out of the gate. So I probably missed a couple lines or two. But this okay, so we've been talking about the 3-episode chunks, like the 3-episode story arcs, and I think kind of last week we kind of knew like this is going to be getting ready, like really ready, close to the heist, and then the third episode would be the heist. So luckily in this episode, when it ended, I wasn't like, I kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I think a few people had that criticism last week at the start of the arc, but I think if you go in knowing that it's going to be a sort of a 3-episode arc, like it's absolutely fine. It's nice. It gives the episodes room to breathe. You get character development.
Yeah. Plus, it's like the character development, the dialogue of this show is so juicy.
It really is.
I'm eating that all up.
Yeah. It's just something about this show more than any of the others so far that it feels like it's had like a second and a third pass over all of these scripts just to punch you up.
Yeah. Tony Gilroy came prepared.
He really did. I think, and it's his brother who's like the lead on this arc, isn't it?
Yeah, Dan Gilroy.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, like I'll sit there and listen to like Namek talk about his manifesto and his old-fashioned like navigation equipment. I'm like, this is great.
It's great. And I mean, he's great. He's such I fear for him because he seems like
I fear for them all.
Like of the group, he seems like the one who's going to be the first to go.
Only one we don't have to worry about is Cassian. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
for
that's
now.
Yeah.
I think one of the things with the show is I've recently like realized that Twitter is like weird, because growing up, if you had if you had like Star Wars Insider, you'd kind of get some rumblings of things that were happening in your favorite show or a movie or whatever. Like any sort, that's how you did it, through magazines, through fan magazines. Now with Twitter, like everybody knows like production schedules, and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni tweeting out stuff like his hat on the Ahsoka chair, and like we as a collective group on Twitter know everything about productions and what's going on, and then we speculate, and then we start getting our hopes up, and we start kind of like all these things sort of snowball. We said, like speculation leads to disappointment leads to rage, and all that stuff. But with this show, I don't know anything about it. I think I watched the trailer twice. And then I was like, no more. I don't follow the Gilroys. I don't do anything. So like this whole show has been this sort of like surprise. Like it's not, and the way it's presented, it's not there's not really the Star Wars formula. There's not the action set piece of the week. There's not
here's a space battle,
the cameo,
battle.
The Clone Wars cameo of the week or anything like that. So it's like super intriguing to me. Like I'm like, I can't. And then having it come out every week,
room for it to breathe.
But not only that, but it's just making me want more. Like it's gonna, like when we got the 3 episodes in one day, and then had to wait like 5 days for episode 4. Like that was pretty cool. And I was like kind of fine with it, but now I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I like the breathing, but I'm really, really anxious to see this heist.
It's the fact that I had to check like the timestamp as I was watching the episode, because I was like, ooh, are you gonna get like the start of the heist? Because they were like right there.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. Because I don't want to know I have how much time left, so I should know. But also at the same time, the show doesn't have cliffhangers. So you never know when it's going to end. It could literally end on any line, on any scene.
Yeah, that's it.
But
like I wouldn't have known that this episode was going to end when like Luthen Rail's just in his shop and the door closes and the music started. I was like, oh,
that's it.
End right here.
It's good though, because like you, as I said, as Ralph was saying, like you don't know when it's going to end, and it's almost like there's not a big high tension moment, but you're kind of always there and ready for it. But I'm a big fan.
This whole episode is. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, you mentioned the Luthen shop there, and like there aren't cameos of the week, but the references are there, but they're not there for story reasons. Like they're just there for world building, which is much better.
So last week I get a DM from James that says, apparently in Luthen's shop there is Indiana Jones whip in carbonite. And I was like, I'm so glad I didn't see that, because this show
saw it this week, right? Or you saw something else this week?
I've been trying to just pay attention, because again, I'm trying to pay attention to the dialogue. I'm sure if I watch it a second time, like James, I'm assuming you watched it twice.
I haven't yet. No. I just watched it once. Yeah.
But I don't want it. I don't want any of that stuff. This is such its own corner of the galaxy that I'm like, I want to just be over here for the 12 weeks or whatever it is, the 9 weeks that we're going to be over here. I don't need other stuff creeping in. Mon Mothma, who was barely in Return of the Jedi and a little bit more in Rogue One, but like that's fine because I don't know much about her character. And so I'm like, okay, more of this is fine. But as far as like other outside things coming in, I'm so happy. I'm so afraid of season 2 sort of becoming.
It was Adam Fraser, who's also here. He mentioned wanting to see some cameos and stuff in season 2 as they get closer to Rebels. And I had to chime in because I'm like, I don't want it because it's not necessary. We've seen the Rebel side of that story already. The only time that I could see it being relevant is if it's a case of we're just seeing basically the same scene, but from a different angle. We're seeing it like from Cassian's angle on base 1. Like we're seeing what his conversation was happening while Hera and the Ghost Crew are over here, sort of thing.
That's what I'm wondering. So like, does Tony Gilroy like watch Rebels? Is he gonna put in these?
I can't imagine he does.
Yeah, I doubt it. I feel like with this show, it's like this is the first show. This is the first Star Wars thing in a long time for me that makes the galaxy actually feel like a big place.
Yeah.
Like even though we're on Coruscant, like it's like this.
It's
big
areas of
city and
Coruscant
stuff.
that we don't know, isn't
Well,
it?
yeah,
Well,
and it's like all these planets that we don't really see, like these, like this corporate, like sector and stuff. All these like little places that feel separate from that feel like a small part of this big galaxy, and like I really love that.
My wife was mentioning during the episode the two privates who were talking about wanting to see the lights.
Yeah,
like they're like, Aldhani's shitty, but if there's any bright side, we get to see this if we're lucky enough.
Yeah,
and my wife said it's kind of awesome that this show is also showing just regular people.
Yeah,
not everybody's a Jedi, not everybody's a smuggler, not everybody's people are just there. There's
like there are Imperials who aren't stormtroopers. They're not officers. Like these are just the grunts.
They're not even bad guys.
No, not really. They just sort of have been stationed there, and like obviously it was a ploy to like get them to have a sort of a skeleton crew down in that vault area. But it was done really well, because that's the sort of thing a shitty officer might assign people to do. Like during the one time every 3 years that they get something kind of cool there.
Yeah, like the small stuff like that, watching like a couple of officers want to watch the fireworks, and
it's
like Dedra and her subordinate are just helping each other do office work. And then like Cyril Karn's mom is pouring a cereal.
That's
I laughed really hard.
Both versions of that scene were great. I like there was one thing it went between the three sort of main storylines. We got to see breakfast with each of them and how the breakfast was different across the galaxy.
Yeah,
I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, let's talk about Cyril's, because I mean that was great. What
my note for that is just oops, all negativity.
Yeah,
it's been like that.
It looked like Captain Crunch, right?
Yeah, it looked like it looked like the berries or something. But his arc is like kind of the one I'm most curious about. Like, he starts off as this antagonist, like this overzealous space cop.
He screwed it up so much. It was all brought on by himself as well. It wasn't like he was brought low. He did that fully to himself.
Oh, 100%. And like
so where we're at, do we feel bad for him or not? Do you guys feel bad for him? Like his past, we've seen him be super shitty, and now I mean, he's at his lowest. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a good idea of why he is the way he is now. As I mean, if he's been dealing with this his whole life, then that basically your uncle can get you a decent job, or your uncle can put you through college. Yeah, and he's gone, screw you, mom. I'm gonna go be a cop. And it's like, it is insufferable, and it's we've all had that like relationship, maybe not directly with a parent, but like with other people, like maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was whatever, like if you do this, if you apply yourself in this way, and you do rebel, like you do want to fight off of it, but
it's like that's why it's compelling, like you said, even if we don't feel bad for him, it's relatable.
Yeah, you understand it, even if I mean I still don't feel bad for him because he seems like an absolute dick, but
that's
like, I mean, if he wasn't as shitty as he was in the first few episodes, then maybe I'd feel bad, but you know, I don't know. It's pretty unforgivable.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like a little bit of the catharsis of what he did in the first few episodes. Is now we get to watch him hang out with his mom, and have her constantly tell him that like his uncle's gonna fix this.
What is it? And it's like that feels like a way worse punishment than anyone has dealt with in Star Wars at this point. Like he's had to go home and live with his mom, and it's like he's so miserable about it. Like the way he's like picking up his cereal, he's just like, anywhere but here.
Yeah, those first moments in like the previous episode of him arriving on Coruscant and having to like go down all these levels into this like dark like apartment complex. I'm like, ooh, it's like the longest walk of shame. Yeah,
the biggest walk of shame. And then, oh man, his mom is insufferable. But could we talk about the cereal just a little bit? Because I was thinking, so the cereal is half blue, half brown. It's like whatever, milk chocolate maybe, since it's blue.
Yeah,
but I kind of wish that the milk she poured was regular white milk and the cereal turned it blue.
That'd be interesting. That'd have been a nice little twist in it. But
Yeah.
I mean, of course they're going to do the blue milk. But again, that's one of those things like you're not focusing on it. You're not zooming in on a blue milk thing like they did at the beginning of Rogue One. Like
The cereal I was though.
But I mean,
cereal I could not take my eyes
we
off
did
it.
get that close up of the, but I almost feel like with the cereal, it was more about the cereal and less about the milk because it's just like it's such a child thing.
Yeah, that's
like,
it. It's
like
eating, and it looked like a real sort of candied cereal as well. It looked like something you'd give to the kid.
It literally looked
like
Captain
of her pouring
Crunch.
it. And I was like, oh my god, she's pouring his cereal. This show is like, it's not like a show with jokes in it, but I laugh quite a bit.
Yeah. And it's all, I feel like it's always from Cyril's side of things. Because it's like at first it was he's over the top chewing the scenery ridiculousness, but now it's like it's the exact opposite. It's you're just in the worst place you could possibly be.
He's being like he's clowning himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep laughing. Yeah. But I'm still curious where it's gonna go. Like I do like I wonder like, I think my current thought is like, he like might have just he took the Star Path unit or something.
Oh, possibly.
Like that's what I was thinking is that like because
it keeps on coming up.
Base. Yeah.
And we didn't get much with Deidre this week, but
yeah,
she's still very much on the case, and she's got her sort of second in command, who's very loyal to her, it seems.
But what's great is what little we do get at the character moment of her taking pills, like it's like it's either a headache or some sort of like
focus pill,
anxiety,
or
stomach condition, but just that little moment.
Xanax.
That's not something you would normally see in Star Wars. No. But it's what George Lucas always talked about is shorthand, faster, more intense. Don't have to linger on stuff. It's a moment that took maybe like 5 seconds tops, and it tells you so much about the character. And it's that sort of attention to detail that I like about the writing. It's so character focused. This is probably the most character focused Star Wars ever. Well, maybe outside of the EU. I don't. Jacob,
You're not a reader.
I don't read. I'm not a reader. I don't. That's why I have James here. James reads everything. I have records and toys on my shelf. James, he has toys and a helmet, but he's got books.
Yeah, I see that A-wing.
Books and comics. Oh, it's the same one. Oh, yeah. It's great. Love that A-wing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I always sort of have the books and comics, and whenever there's anything relevant, like I'll try and bring it up.
Yeah. Do you have one of these?
One of those.
Both me and James have a Luke lightsaber.
I don't have a Luke lightsaber. Some random other ones.
Just got a few others.
Not yet. I don't have a Luke one yet.
All right, we'll get you one.
And I left my Rebel pilot helmets are in the Funhouse office right now because I was using them to make some stuff.
I look forward to it. Yeah. So we get a lot more of her. Well, not a lot more of her story, but we get more of it. And yeah, you were saying about what you think was going to happen with Cyril. I don't know who's going to recruit who. I feel like her investigation is going to lead her to him, and then she'll like be the one to offer him the out, like to get him out of his sort of shitty situation.
For me, last week I was saying, is Cyril gonna like be so mad at the Empire that he's gonna go to the rebellion side? And then, or is he going to drive him more to become an Imperial officer? And it sounds like the only thing he cares about right now is Cassian.
Yeah, he's got that
hologram. So whoever, if for some reason Luthen gets to him first, that's going to take him to Cassian. If Deidre comes in, he's going to go with her. He's anxious to join one side or the other, as long as it gets him to Cassian.
Yeah. I worry about like Luthen being on Coruscant because like Dedger's there and she seems like she's gung-ho. She's gung-ho, she's smart, she can figure stuff out. Like even like that I don't remember his name, but like the Qyburn head of the ISB.
Oh
guy.
yeah.
Like, he knows that she's really good at her job.
Partagaz, yeah.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I just worry for Luthen because I love Luthen. He's so good.
And of everyone that we know might not be around by the time of Rogue One, like he seems like he would be a major person if he was still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's this season or next season at some point in that 5 years, like, yeah.
But again, we don't know, which is great because like Ahsoka wasn't around in the original trilogy. and we're like, well, where's Ahsoka? And then it just
can write around it.
She left, or she wasn't around for I guess episode 3.
And honestly, that's what I needed from the show, is to worry about other characters, because I know Cassian's going to.
We know he's going to be fine. Yeah.
So having other characters that I'm really into, that I don't know what their fate is, I'm just like, oh god.
And the other one who we know is going to be okay is Mon Mothma. But we're learning so much more about her as well. Like her entire family situation seems
She's a daughter.
Like,
really complicated.
She has a daughter. Like we found out last week she has a shitty husband. We found out this week she's got a shitty daughter. Like, no wonder she wants to rebel at this point. Like,
her family just leave her a new one at the table. I was like, Jesus Christ,
I'm not really. I've been sort of out of it the last month. The listeners know. But I have a kidney stone that's been slowly making its way down. It's been awful. I actually feel really good today, so I'm really in the highest spirits. But I don't know what Twitter is saying about this show. Really, I haven't been paying attention.
Everything I've seen has been pretty positive.
But I like that. Like, I haven't seen things like people saying, "Oh, Mon Mothma's kid is Rey's mom."
Oh god!
So Luthen becomes blank. Like, I haven't seen this stuff.
I mean, he's obviously Plagueis. Really nice.
Yes, Luthen is Darth Plagueis in disguise. He's Snoke. He's Snoke.
I thought that was like a given. Yeah, I thought that was just in the text.
Yeah,
but I like it. I like it because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, if it wasn't Cassian, the show would be amazing, because I have no idea the fate of anyone. He's the main character. We know that's what I said. I sent a tweet to Star Wars when they posted their Cassian trailer was please don't kill him off. He's my favorite character.
The show has been really cool, because it's like we're getting that glimpse into the, like, some of the just the smaller things, but also the bureaucracy and the politics and stuff, but it's not like terribly boring.
No, not at all. It's the fascinating side of all of that, because you know that it's the surface level that we're seeing, but then just bubbling underneath it, we've got the seeds of rebellion are there, sort of thing.
We have 5 storylines going, right? We have Cassian, Luthen, Mon Mothma, Deirdre, and
Cyril Karn.
And Cyril.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing, is like, if you have these interesting characters, even though they're not talking about, like, you know, I don't know, space battles, and they're not fighting, and they're not, know, swashbuckling. When you cut to the next thing, you're excited to see the characters go. So it has this pacing.
It really does. Like, it's going. 35, 40 minutes an episode so far, and they are touching on all of them, even if it's just a scene or two. And that is the pacing. It does make it go. It feels like it's going at a good clip. Like, you're spending time with Cassian's story. You're getting to know the characters and everyone else on the heist team. So it's got room to breathe, so that we're getting to the episode, that we're getting to the heist in the third part of this arc. But it doesn't feel that we're rushing through any one particular story because we're jumping around. But then the episodes never feel like drawn out or boring, because we've got the 5 different storylines going on.
Yeah, which is so nice in a Star Wars show. Finally, it's like I really enjoy Mandalorian and stuff, but like, those episodes go fast, and there's not a lot of them.
No,
and because they're all self-contained little episodes, like, they got to get through a lot.
Yeah.
And
each one has its arc as well, like in the space of a 35-minute episode.
Yeah. But this show just, like, it breathes, it takes its time, and I'm totally cool with that. And I think they really hammered home with this episode, and I like this a lot, is that, like, it's like the rebellion is like a small little thing right now, and it really emphasized how fragile it all is.
Yeah.
Like that, like, they can't make any mistakes if they want to accomplish anything. And like, what they want to accomplish is just stealing payroll.
That's it. They just need some bank. They just need to be funded. Yeah. Like, it seems like what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Space Stellan Skarsgård. Space Stellan Skarsgård.
Oh, Luthen Rail.
Luthen. Yeah. It feels like Luthen has been sort of. It's so good. All of the names in this show are so good so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luthen, I feel like he's been sort of bankrolling it all himself so far, and now it's like, I can't do this forever. It'll flag up. Like, the ISB won't, like, ignore that forever.
Yeah,
because she's like she's putting pieces together already, and so he's trying to basically get some funding for the rest of the rebellion. And yeah, there are cells, there are fragments of it all over the place, and he seems to be the one who's trying to bring it all together as one unit.
Yeah.
Luthen, that conversation with, I'm assuming it's his wife, mentions in the episode, like, stop worrying, you have clients tomorrow, which means his sort of front, his antiquities dealership thing, like, those are important because you need to bring money in.
Legitimacy as well. You need to,
yeah. If you're going to fund this thing, stop worrying about that, and still you have a thing to do here.
I thought what she said though was really interesting. The fact that she's like, I don't like to see you worry. It feels like most of the time he's super confident. He's got all of this stuff down. Like, it's no thing for him.
Yeah, this guy knows how to sell an Utapawan monk cudgel.
Absolutely, he's got all of it. Like, they can sell coins that are from the Rakatan Empire or anything. Like, they've got it all covered. Like,
again, I don't have any books. I don't know what you guys.
Or video games.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The video games. Oh, shit, I forgot. I need to play that game.
Or the Temple of Doom, because I'm not even going to mention it because hopefully, Ralph, you never see it. But yeah, there's some more Indiana Jones.
Because you look at it, Stellan.
But yeah, exactly. But he's there, and I feel like up to this point, everything's been not too bad for them. Like, they've been able to get all this stuff done. But now that they've got this big heist plan, he is starting to worry. He knows that it's on a linchpin, and he knows that he's taken a risk with Cassian. So that's why he's now worried, and his partner, his assistant, his wife, whatever she is to him, like, she sees that, and she has to be the sort of the calming force, and that is, it's interesting.
They either do it, they either make it or they don't. Like,
well, that's it, and that could be and as like the last lines of the episode, where it's like,
but that's what's good about the episode. It sets up the fact that, hey, this mission may go south, which, like anyone who's seen a heist movie knows, things are going to go south.
Yeah,
like, it might work out good for our heroes, but like
Cassian might get away. But like, are disposable,
including the kid with the ideals. I like that dude a lot. I like that kid a lot, and
he's great. He's got models. He's got ideals. He's the one that we are gonna lose.
He's gonna be the one that I feel like he's going away.
Like, we have that revelation where Cassian finds out that they don't know how the ship works.
Great.
Where it's like, oh, you don't know how to like calibrate the weight or whatever for it to take off from this rail.
Literally,
just to get it off the ground. Oh my god!
And their explanation of it that felt relatable. It's like we'll figure it out. It might get messy, but we were gonna figure it out if you weren't here. And
there's like, what, 7 of them?
Well, there would have been 6. Like, now they are 7, so there would have been 6 of them. One of them is an Imperial officer in disguise, or no, is an Imperial officer who's like defecting. And so he might have just sort of gone, these guys are screwing this up. They're not getting away. I'm sticking with the Empire. He could have turned on them at any point. You got one of them who is an ex-con who, he's just in it for revenge. So he could have gone in guns blazing. Like, there is all these different factors. We don't know what 2 of them are even doing as a part of this heist. Like, there's so many elements that could go wrong.
Let me ask you about the tattoos. So are these things that are like from the books? Like, he said a crate head. He called them a crate head, I think. Is that what he said? That's
I didn't pick up on the specifics of what they said.
The one on the thing. And then it's clearly a barcode. And then the one on his arm, by the way, happy James Bond Day. One looked like Spectre. Looked like the Spectre octopus.
I didn't even think about that.
So I don't know. Maybe Tony Gilroy or is into James Bond.
I don't know. I mean, I've been watching Rings of Power as well. I was expecting one of them to be like the Mark of Sauron or something. Like, there's all sorts in there. But like, I feel like it was just a case of their prison tats. Cassian recognized them. He's been a prisoner as well. Like, when he was 13, I think he said. So his time on Ferrix with his mum, like. And you see the difference as well, like the difference between Cassian and Cyril's, like,
lots of moms in this show.
Riz, like space mums. We don't normally get many good Star Wars mums in.
We've had Shmi. That's it.
Yeah, Shmi, and we saw Jin's mum as well. She got shot.
Oh yeah,
that's right. They never end well.
Hell, I wouldn't mind if Cyril's mom got shot.
by Cassian's mum. That would be great. Mum
that
fight.
that old person that she yelled at a couple episodes ago. It's gonna come back for revenge. I love it. I love it. I love the mom energy.
It's really interesting, and the difference between them is fascinating. But like, yeah, we know that Cassian must have gone back to Ferrix after his time in prison, whether he was released or escaped or whatever. Like,
yeah,
he seems like, and that makes sense for sort of the jobs that he was doing when he was there. It's a case of like, take what he can get, sort of cash in hand work, because at that point he's an ex-con as well.
Yeah,
right. So let me talk to you about this heist real quick, because it's brought up twice in this episode. Who's the sort of leader? The blonde-haired woman that helped Cassian? The character's name?
Vel.
Okay.
Vel Sartha.
So twice.
Star Wars ass name.
It is.
So twice in this episode, Cassian sort of questioned where she's going to be during this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any sort of idea? Like, it feels super shady to me, and I don't know why.
It really does. Yeah. So her and Cinta Kaz, who, again, like all of these names, they feel like they're coming from a really good Star Wars name generator.
Yeah.
But it's they're off doing their own thing, and the other guy, not Nemec, Arvel Skeen, I think it was, who sort of said Skeen. Like, when talking about all of them, he was sort of saying about Cinta how she's probably the toughest of all of us.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what their part of this is.
I have a feeling that this is more about money that they're taking. I have a feeling that because she's tied to Luthen, and Luthen's clearly is collecting antiquities. There's this temple that's right by there. Maybe the Empire has taken something of importance. I don't know what, but clearly they're keeping that under wraps, and she's not telling anybody what they're up to while these guys are grabbing the ship.
Yeah, getting the ship, getting the cash, because the cash looks like that vault is right next to the ship that they need to escape on.
Because in the end, story wise, we're gonna hit this last arc, and or this last episode arc on part 3, and like they're gonna get the money, cool, and they get the ship, cool. Not very exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like the asteroids are going to be pretty exciting.
I am very excited.
But I mean, as far as like when you watch Rogue One, you're like, awesome, fucking, they got the Death Star plans. Now things are going to be awesome. And this is just like, yay, they got the money. Who cares? I don't care. About
it's just a bank heist at that point. Like,
So I feel like there's got to be something else that we don't know that they're doing, because they brought it up twice. They mentioned it twice in this one.
So
where are you guys going?
They've talked about it being like a holy event, and how the locals used to always come to that temple, and it used to be thousands. Now it's less than 100 last time he was there. Maybe her side of it is they're going to go and rally some of the locals. Like, they're trying to get the rest of the people on Aldhani to sort of rebel. Like, she's trying to recruit more people to the cause.
Yeah.
Potentially. I feel like that'd be the simplest.
They really like emphasize how important it is to keep like information like kind of quarantined off from other people and stuff. Like, especially with only Cassian and Vel knowing about Luthen. And then like not really knowing where like each person comes from, and like Cassian just now being forced to reveal like what his motivations are, which was cool.
Yeah.
Like it really like brought home how distrustful they are of kind of each other.
Yeah, no one really knows each other. It sounds like some of them were locals, or at least had been there for a while.
Like Skeen's just dynamic. Like, I barely trust you.
Yeah, that's it.
They don't really know. But it might be true.
Yeah.
And we've seen a couple of flyovers of the TIE fighter now. That one sort of Top Gun pilot who's definitely was just sort of skimming the deck and just sort of basically as a bit of a threat. It's like, hey, we see you down there.
Yeah, but like, then people, I'm gonna fly right over them.
Yeah, that's it. Sound. I'm gonna get as low as I can. Possibly. Yeah. I mean, if you're stationed there and you're like one of the few pilots that they've got, then you probably would want to do that sort of thing. It looks like a nice sort of area to fly.
Yeah.
Adam mentioned here the Imperial Engineer coming, and then we also saw like the Lander class, like the shuttle leaving or arriving. He thinks maybe Galen Erso, but someone from engineering coming to the dam to the base is interesting. That would make the most sense, I think, to me, that their side of the job is to do with that.
Yeah, it seems like it's come up enough times where it sounds like it might be like a hitch or something that's going to be important,
or a kidnap job. Like they're trying to get this engineer for some reason, or some information that he has potentially. Yeah, I have no idea. I like that I don't know. Like, I like that it's not being spelled out to us.
I don't know if I wanted to be Galen again. Like the universe is so small, or the galaxy is so small, where you're constantly like,
one of
Ponda Baba is hanging out near.
Yeah. One of his team would be fine. One of his team would be great. Like that.
Yeah.
One of his team, because we see them all get shot. We've seen the uniform. Like, people will be able to identify the uniform. And yeah, we get a bit more of them being fleshed out. And if one of those guys has sort of some information, then, you know, it's going to lead them down a path that will eventually get to Rogue One. Gets them to Saw Gerrera, gets them to all of those, connects the dots.
Yeah.
But in a way that it's
something
not
going on with this engineer.
Yeah.
Because for me, even the mention of Jakku, I'm like, oh boy. Stop talking.
I mean, there was
Star Wars in this show.
There was a lot. I mean, we got Hosnian Prime, we got Jakku, we got a lot of Star Wars planets.
Episode.
Yeah, Ryloth.
Yeah. Which like that makes sense. It's like these are places that, I mean, especially they're talking about Ryloth, where there's probably a lot of like issues.
Mm-hmm. We know that there was like the rebellions and stuff like that on Ryloth. So the Syndulla family definitely don't like.
But luckily they sprinkle those names in amongst a bunch of other stuff.
Right. But I guess if you have the inclusion of Jakku for kind of the more casual Star Wars fan, they say, okay, this is a list of planets. Yeah. That's all I need to know is they're talking about planets. So
it doesn't distract from the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all like, oh, Fondor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, let's see the shipyard. But again, like Ralph, you hear Fondor and don't really sort of twig that it's anything, do you?
No.
There you go. See, that's the thing. That's the great thing about it. It is because you can just sort of go in blind to those things.
Again, it's the whole Obi-Wan talking about the Clone Wars in Star Wars in Episode 4. It's like, it's not. I get the context. I don't need to know the backstory. But, I mean, then we learn the backstory. But
boy, is their backstory.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah, 7 seasons and 3 movies. And books.
Yeah.
You just did a Clone Wars book too. They're still making Clone Wars books. The Brotherhood, right?
The Brotherhood just came out like a few months ago. It's great.
There's a lot of it's kind of like this infinite space to keep exploring.
Later this month, we're getting more Clone Wars animation stuff with the Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And Bad Batch.
Bad Batch
is
back.
Yeah,
next. Yeah, that's still same era. So we're back on Ferrix.
This show we got a. I was gonna say this show we got a TIE fight. We got a TIE fighter.
Yeah, we got a TIE fighter.
It's cool. It's a TIE. It's like, hey, it's Star Wars. There's a TIE fighter over here.
Yeah. Even just like when they're on Coruscant, I just hear the sounds, and I'm just like, sounds like Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
little things.
Sound
like
design's great. It's so good. Like, I mean, last week as well, when we got the speeder bike approaching, like you hear that noise before you see it, and it's like,
but just the shots too. The shots of her car, her limo,
felt so
driving through. It looks so awesome. That's probably why I liked it so much.
I love
it felt very Blade Runner to me. I think.
Yeah, between like you're on Coruscant where it's like beautiful and like you see Mon Mothma's like cool house, all her Chandrila and stuff, and then it cuts back to just like Cassian and the crew just in the mud.
Space goats.
Yeah, there's space goats and they're like huts made out of sticks and stuff. Oh, I love it.
And then we get the shots as well. Like they're back on Ferrix, and we see that like the Empire is fully taking over from the cops. And we got that one officer who's like, "Can I have this basically honorary title?" He wants to be
a prefect.
Yeah, he wants to be the prefect. It's like, I know that it doesn't come with a pay rise or anything, but he just wants it. And I love how the ISB officer, who we've seen a couple of times, is just like, sure, do what the hell you want. Like
you could wear a gown if you want.
You could, like I don't care. Just keep this place in order. Like that's all he's worried about. But
just the fact of him asking about the hotel, Yeah,
the
like
hotel.
they just flat out just took someone's
Took a
livelihood
business.
away.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like absolutely shut it down. And we know about that hotel and how it was a big scam, so that it was probably doing quite well.
Yeah.
So it was probably making some good money, but yeah, shut it down and turn it into an Imperial office. It's like, oof. I look
She
forward
says
like
she loves Mon Mothma's house and she wants to live there. Hey, if she lives there, I live there.
I
So
mean,
I'm
that's
all
great. I
for it.
mean, you're so far it seems like you're a better husband than Mon Mothma's, so you know, you got one up there.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that
He's
guy.
my
He
least
likes
favorite
being
guy.
rich.
But like clearly she's like the breadwinner. Like dude is just loafing around the house while Mon Mothma is out there trying to like restore peace to the galaxy, and he
Yeah.
is just the biggest prick.
Yeah,
And it feels like the daughter sides with him.
Yeah.
God.
It feels like, you know, it's your politician's wife or husband, like it's the politician's partner and the shitty kid. And it's like
the
yeah,
arrogant
she's busy.
ponytail.
He's such a dick. And then like not learning the drivers' names, things like that. What's his name? And then yeah. Like at that point, it's like if that driver isn't a spy, like we all assume he is, like Mon Mothma should just sort of like just give him a tap on the shoulder, open the door, and fling him out. Like just get rid of that husband. Like give the car
I
a
do
little
wonder
tilt.
if like maybe we'll see some more of it in future episodes, but like maybe her focus on the rebellion and stuff is like keeping her kind of pushed away from her family and stuff, and that's why they act the way they do,
and why they are distant and everything. Like what's broken her family is like it's what she's given up, it's what she's sacrificed for the rebellion.
So interesting. I love
it's like it's so much more nuanced than we've had in the past, where it's like, oh, my brother got shot, so I feel like I need to rebel and get vengeance and everything. It's like no.
Yeah.
I had a potentially at one point loving family here, but I actively chose to give them up or like to push them away because the greater good. It was needed. It was what was necessary for the galaxy.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we're doing such like interesting stuff with Mon Mothma, who like Ralph said was just like such a minor character.
Exactly. It's a one-line note. Like it's a one-line character. It's in the same way that in all EU and everything, like all Corellians are amazing pilots who hate the odds. It's like that's it. Like just because of the two Corellian characters that we know about, like both of them are really good pilots. Han says one thing about odds. It's like that is the defining factor for every Corellian from then on. It's like I like that we're getting away from that sort of characterization.
Is the other one Dash Rendar?
I can't remember if Dash. Yeah, he of course
he's the Corellian.
Of course he's going to be Corellian. Isn't he?
The other one, Thraken Sal Solo.
I mean, yeah, fuck that guy. I mean, Han's had shitty family in every iteration, though.
Terrible name.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm excited for that actor too, because she was gonna be in Revenge of the Sith all those years ago.
Yeah.
Then all her scenes were cut.
Yeah.
And she was in Rogue One for a little bit.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like George Lucas cast her in her 20s, and now she's getting to play the character. Like she's had more screen time than the original actress anyway. But like, yeah, fair play. Like. It's in the same way that they brought back Bonnie Pierce as Aunt Beru. Bringing Genevieve O'Reilly back is great because for the small amount that we did see them, you could recast that, and I wouldn't have a problem with it if the actor or the actress that they wanted to like replace them with was better. But the fact that they've sort of stuck with these casting choices that were made back in the prequels is. It's great. It's lovely to see.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody somewhere, before the show was getting shot and stuff was like, "What if we could create a CG Mon Mothma?"
Yeah, almost
like the old one.
Yeah, it's like just recast. I'm fine with the recasting.
Just recast it.
Yeah,
it's a good.
But the thing is, her performance, her performance matches up. Like when you watch Return of the Jedi, like it feels like the same character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you got like her agent must be absolutely loving it because she's not an A-list actress, so she's probably not with like some big crazy agent. But it's like, oh yeah, Lucasfilm just phoned. They want you to come back for to do more scenes from that one that was shot and that you did like 2 days on Rogue One. Like, it's amazing. Good for her.
Yeah, I like that we don't see. There's not too many recognizable faces in this.
No,
and like I mean, other than Stellan Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård's the biggest.
Totally works for that role.
And
though.
he's perfect.
He's perfect.
Yeah,
and
that's
the thing is, I'm wondering if they wrote this part for him. He seems so perfect for it. And it just makes me want to know, like, I feel like just the approach to this show, it's definitely characters first.
I wouldn't be
came
surprised.
up with the characters and ideas, and then
I feel like they had an idea for a character, and then in the same way that when they sort of wrote towards I'm blanking on his name as well, in Rogue One, who we're gonna see later on in this season.
Saw Gerrera,
Forrest Whitaker. When they sort of had Forrest Whitaker, and like it was a case of, okay, we want this type of character. We want this type of character. Who have we got? And then they could sort of slot that into being Saw Gerrera. With this, I feel like it was kind of the similar but opposite, where it's like, we need this sort of character. Okay, we've got Stellan Skarsgård. Right, now we can write to Stellan Skarsgård's strengths.
Yeah, I think like I do know with this show, like Tony Gilroy came with like he had this whole show basically just planned out. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did have like actors in mind for it from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they wanted to do like
5
seasons, didn't they? Originally, it was going to be like a 5-season, 1 year each season sort of thing. But now that we're getting 1 year and then 4 more years over the course of next season, it's a really interesting way of doing it. I really like it. I love the format of the show.
I know it's like consistently good.
Yeah, I think it's the most consistently good as well.
Yeah,
like so far, like there's been good stuff in all of them, but this one is just every episode. Like whether you got the action of episode 3 or just the nuance of this one in particular, like there was, it's just brilliant.
It's funny because I have a friend who is not keen on the state of Star Wars. Absolutely loves the show.
Cool.
I like Star Wars no matter what. I absolutely love this show. And I think it's because I'm old. I think I'm getting old because this show feels like it's something that like my dad would watch. Like my dad used to watch like Hill Street Blues, where it's a bunch of people standing around talking. Yeah, you know, like I didn't watch that kind of stuff. And I can't imagine any kid putting on this show and enjoying it
and having fun.
No, I can't. My niece and nephew love Star Wars, and I love talking to them about Star Wars. They really like The Mandalorian, all of that sort of stuff. But where The Mandalorian is 2 grown-ass men playing with their action figures and putting it on screen, that's fun. That's super fun. You get to watch that, and we get to play with those toys. But like now we're watching a show that is like, if my niece and nephew are watching this, I'll be amazed because it's not for them. Like it's
even like the fact that there was like a quote like pre and post sex scene, like we saw before and after a sex scene, and then the opening scene takes place at a brothel. Like other than that, there's not really anything that's adult. I think
they said
Cassian
shit.
They said shit, and they said in this one they said ass.
Yeah,
but I mean that's still PG-13.
And we've had big ass gore, we've had hell throughout, like so
so like beyond those quote adult things, like the rest of the show is pretty tame. It's not like adult, but it feels like it's for adults.
But it's in the same way that you watch, like I think we mentioned it in one of the early episodes, you watch like a spy movie as a kid, and Tristan's mentioning it here, like Tinker Tailor, like something like that. You watch a thing like that, and if you watch it as a kid, you're gonna enjoy some of the action moments, but the rest of the time you're gonna be bored senseless because it is just like it's just talking about it. But then as you're watching it, like as you get older, there are films that I watch now that I probably watched as a kid because my brother or my dad or something was watching it, but I enjoy them a hell of a lot more. Like as I was growing up.
Yeah, because like I think it's just different focuses. Like I was thinking about this. There was like a couple scenes in the last episode. There was like when the ISB guy is talking about them being like a healthcare provider, which was so cool and compelling. And then like Lutheran Rail talking about like when he's just having his conversation with Mon Mothma when she shows up, and I'm like, dang, he's using a lot of big words. Can't imagine being like a child watching this.
He's got all of his $5 words out. Like
and I was like, right damn. But it's so good. Like
it's compelling. It's not. It doesn't feel like it's pandering. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be more intelligent than it is. It's doing it naturally. It's delivering all of this dialogue in a real natural way. Like,
and it's respecting the audience's intelligence too, and like it's so good. Like just the way it conveys information. It's like even if I don't know what the fuck a star path unit is, but they keep saying it over and over, but you know it's important. All you know is it's important, and Dedra really depends on it.
It's the best kind of MacGuffin. Like what it is doesn't matter. You just know that it has an importance.
It matters to move the story forward.
Yeah,
but it's not like a all powerful thing that she needs to get. That's gonna like the fate of the Empire depends on it. It just moves the story forward.
And like going back to the dialogue as well, it's the relevant characters delivering that kind of dialogue. It's Luthen, it's Mon Mothma, it's the officers, but like Cassian's guys on the ground, like the one dude's just coming up with a knife and just all he wants is to know why he's there. He's gonna threaten him because he's got some kyber crystal around his neck. Like it's
there's so much intent behind the dialogue, and it's like it's not the characters talking to the audience and telling us important things. They're talking to each other. It's all so organic.
And they're not over explaining, which is nice. It's 100% like that's another thing that I find myself at 5:30 in the morning like trying to like wrestle with is they'll just throw in space terms, but it's not like when you watch a show and there's two characters and one of the characters is like, James, you know I'm your brother, so I would never like. No one does that. No one does that over explaining. They don't explain their relationship. We are like literally dropped in the middle of this sort of a galaxy that we know. Some of us know more than others because they read, but like for the most part, like I trust Tony Gilroy and company to like say whatever they need to say, and they trust me enough to be smart enough to understand the context of it without having to like go on Google.
And even when Cassian is explaining like how they'll release the ship and things, it's like he's like, I'm gonna give you the basics in case I don't know, maybe I get shot, but just don't worry about it. I'll do it. I know what to do. I don't need to over explain it and just sort of go through the entire plot to everyone else. It's
something special.
It really is. It's different.
This comment here from I'm going to say Pedro. The show is about how a mundane guy joined a rebellion that would come later to overthrow an empire in a time where Jedi was just a myth. Like that's what's great about it too is Cassian is so not, and even when we get to Rogue One, he's not this crazy big hero. He's just a guy. And he's done some crazy.
All we know is that he's done some like dark stuff for the rebellion.
He's a killer.
Exactly. I think
before the rebellion, he's killing people.
That's it. And like
he's
maybe
just this weird.
He's a criminal basically.
Yeah, he is a killer. In a weird way, he's actually pursuing justice. Like a dick as discussed, but he's actually trying to do the right thing. That's the difference I think between him and Cyril. They're the sort of the two sides of a coin where they're both sort of doing the same thing but for very different reasons.
I'm really curious how they'll come back together.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the storylines converge and how they're going to come together. Like you can sort of see it with
Mon
some
Mothma fit sort of.
I feel like she'll interact with Luthen, but mostly is going to be doing her thing on Coruscant and like with the rebellion, and maybe we'll see some more.
I want to see that Senate chamber again.
I can't wait to see that Senate chamber.
Well, I mean, every week I was posting a picture of Mon Mothma as our sort of thumbnail because we didn't see the episode. We post her, for our live episode, and I kept using that shot of her in the Senate.
I want to see it.
That top down as well with the logos in the base. Like it's I can't wait.
I want to see Sly Moore mess
I
up
want to see the dinner party. Yeah, where's that dinner party at? Like I want to see
Sly Moore is so off-putting to look at.
Yeah. How is that fun? How are the people that he's invited?
It's crazy.
Sly Moore, life of the party. Like
I'm so it's like I just want more. I want more. Are we gonna see Palpatine?
Sly Moore.
Timothy says.
I don't think so. I think he'll be referred to. I think we might see Maz Maida, but I don't think we'll see.
James mentioned it. James mentioned it last week. He's sort of where we saw him in episode 3, he was sort of overseeing the construction of the Death Star.
Yeah.
And I feel like he doesn't need to be hands-on.
No,
Yeah,
I feel like he's controlling the Senate like from afar, like, but at this point he's got that sort of the excuse of oh, I'm so weak and disheveled after the assassination attempt. I can just stay in the background and deliver my messages through Masameda over here.
If we do see him, I feel like at least it makes sense in the story that we would see him.
Yeah.
We saw him in Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Yeah, and the hologram.
He was a hologram,
twiddling with his fingers.
Did they put him in all that makeup just to shoot that one thing, or did they have him on in
do a
makeup
few
and
do a few hologram scenes?
For,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the thing is like it wouldn't make sense like that. I wouldn't begrudge the show to have a character in it because he's the emperor.
I feel like we all want Bail Organa to turn up. So it's there are characters that we want to see. Like you don't need to,
as long as it serves the story.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
As long as it serves the story, that's all that matters. I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna be on my couch going, "Oh, Palpatine!"
Yeah,
like I don't. That's not this show.
No.
Again, it's not Moochie. Moochie the Rancor in Bad Batch drove me up the wall. It drove me up the wall.
Oh my god!
Really, we need to see the origins of Jabba the Hutt's Rancor. Like
I totally forgot
that. We don't need it.
It's a show. It's a TV show. It's Star Wars. It's fun, but at the same time, like
the galaxy's small.
Move forward.
Yeah,
new things. Stop going backwards.
Yeah,
and somehow this show manages to be, even though it's a prequel to Rogue One, it still manages to move a story forward.
Yeah,
which is what I like. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I really love this show.
It's great to love this show.
Yeah, it's nice like to be able to do that and to watch the show and to not have to go, I'm gonna have to listen to or see a week's worth of people nitpicking this and the other. Like there are, of course,
I'm not bringing this one up at work today.
There's always, that's it. There's always going to be one or two things that people will nitpick about. Like it's Star Wars. Those people are always going to exist. But for the most part, like what I've seen anyways, like when they've come up, everyone's been like, shut up, it's great. Or they've been I love it, but this or but that.
It's just good TV.
Exactly. You could take Star Wars off of the title, you change the character names, and it's just a good show that would work on any network.
Yeah, with so many big shows happening right now that I've been watching all of them, like House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, and stuff. And Andor is like just up there as a show I'm looking forward to every week.
Really is. Like I'm the same. I've been watching all three of them, but like for me, it's other than the fact that it's Star Wars, it is the most compelling of the three. I think it's telling the tightest story.
Yeah, I think the thing is like I expect that from like a Game of Thrones show or
high caliber. Yeah,
like I did expect it with most of Game of Thrones, but it's come back around and I'm enjoying it. And then like Rings, big Amazon show, which I'm sure they put a ton of money into it, and I've been
millions. I think it was like 25 million just to secure the rights.
Insane amount of money.
Yeah,
but I've still been enjoying that like a lot. But like when it's a Star Wars show that's super compelling and like it's got like great, it's like shot well, the performances are really good, the writing is great. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying it just because it's Star Wars and I love anything Star Wars. I'm enjoying it and it's that.
Star Wars is candy. Star Wars is candy. You eat it and it gives you a nice high, and it's like, this is great. You get amped up.
Yeah, you get
awesome. I love it. Andor is like a meal.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole new thing, like where it's like, oh, I didn't know you can do that with Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to put it.
I'm hoping the numbers are up because I really want Lucasfilm to be like, you know what? We can start sort of
from this,
spreading our wings.
And when we give a creator sort of the freedom to tell the story that they are invested in, as they seem to have done with Tony Gilroy here, like let him cook, let him do his thing.
Yeah. And I love candy.
Yeah, I love candy, and all the candy is great. But
I didn't realize how hungry I was though.
That's it. It doesn't fill you up as much as this.
Yeah.
Are we
This is
all
like-
hungry? I know it's like breakfast time for you guys over there. I haven't had any lunch yet.
I downed the egg and waffles before I jumped on because I needed. That's probably why I might be a little more amped up today. A, because I'm not in pain, which is great,
Yeah.
and B, I have like syrup.
Yeah,
Nice.
You've got that sugar. You've got the candy, but you didn't have to get it from the show.
Yeah, I woke up 11 minutes before we started this. So
Amazing. That's commitment. Thank you for it.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have anything else about the show that we need to get to, I don't think. So
I don't either.
I feel like we should let you guys go. Ralph, enjoy the day without being in pain. And Jacob, thank you for joining us this week.
Of course. This was great.
I had
such a good show. Like it was very fun to talk to you guys.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to have you back. Maybe if we can get you on back for the end of this season, potentially.
Yeah.
If not, for the next show.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be cool.
100%. And I've talked about it a little bit. Like next Monday is for Funhouse. We have a Star Wars series starting that I'm producing.
Amazing.
And I'm very excited for that.
So,
can you give any info on it?
A little bit. Like there's going to be 6 episodes that are each loosely related, connected to like a corresponding movie. Like it's going to go like 4, 5, 6,
cool.
1, 2, 3.
So it's not a gameplay series. It is a
gameplay series.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the games are sort of connected, as loose as I can be. The games I could get to work.
I was going to say there's definitely some of those games that have got some weird stuff that you could do some fun things with. But
yeah, like there's not too many Return of the Jedi games, so I had to make do.
Yeah,
with what's actually on camera. But yeah, there'll be some of that for
look forward to it.
6 weeks.
And you can catch that on
Twitch.
YouTube on Bruce and Steve.
Funhouse.
Funhouse. It's Funhaus, correct? There you go. And then also, you've got your own twitch.tv/Jacob Full.
Yeah, Jacob Full. JACAB.
Get that right?
FUL. One less L.
One less L, guys.
One less L.
One less L. You know.
Yeah. And I do Monday streams on there where I put Gundam model kits together, and then I stream some video games too, but just here and there. But it's always those Monday things.
Great. Something to look forward to. That we get a double dose of Jacob this coming Monday.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah. And we'll be back next week to talk about episode 6. Do we have a guest?
We do have a guest next week as well. Yeah, and he's right there. In fact, Adam Fraser is going to be joining us next Wednesday to talk about the midpoint of the season. We try and get guests on when I'm not at work, guys. So I have to go to work most weeks as soon as we finish the podcast. But when we don't, we try and get a guest on. Sometimes we can do it when I do have to run away.
You saying like mid-season sounds so good that we have 12 episodes.
We're not even
show.
there. Yeah,
this
lovely,
is the first time we're getting double digits.
Yeah,
for
nice.
Star Wars episodes. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited.
But still, like, not too much. Not overstaying its welcome, I don't think.
It's a good amount of episodes.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm like,
I know.
I love it so much. Please just stick the landing.
But it's been good so far. I
got my confidence up. Definitely.
All right. Thanks to everybody for joining us in the chat. Jacob, thank you for coming on. It was a blast. We'll have to have you on again.
Yes, please.
And then, I think that's all. You guys all know the links. I put them down earlier. Thank you for watching, like, and subscribe, and all that garbage. Go to our merch page if you want to do that. We got some weird shirts.
We got some really weird shirts.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll get them a a cheaper rate for shipping as well in the UK and Europe.
Right. Yeah, so I need to get that.
We'll get that sorted. But there was some hard drive and some file issues.
Yeah, my hard drive's gone.
Yeah. So we'll get it eventually, guys. We'll get it eventually. You can always order them from the store already. Like, it'll just cost a bit more.
Yeah.
But until next week, guys, don't give in to hate.
Celebrate the love.
Punch it.
Do I say something?
Wait, hold on. Do you want to? You can.
What brings you to our remote sanctuary? That's mine.
Perfect.
All right. Now we can go.